Hello and welcome to Chapter Skip. I'm Mark, and today I'm reviewing the Human Centipede final sequence. The poop-eating brainchild of writer-director Tom Six, that's known as the Human Centipede, has had the privilege of basking in a certain amount of notoriety, mainly based solely on the premise, which, for those of you that don't know, involves a bunch of people being surgically tampered with so that they can only crawl around on all fours, and they've had their mouths grafted to the anus of the person in front of them. The first movie came out in 2009, and I thought it was a clever and fairly original title. It did suffer a bit at the start by feeling a little cliche, as the two female leads' car broke down in the middle of nowhere, and then, oh what a shock, they can't get a phone signal. But once they reached the house of Dr. Hater, played by Dieter Lasser, things started to look up as the movie got on with all that centipede stuff. Sure, it could have been a lot more bloody and disgusting considering the subject matter, but overall, it was a pretty good film. Then in 2011, Human Centipede Full Sequence came out and did something that was needed for the franchise to survive. It went full on blood and shit mental. It also featured an interesting idea in that it acknowledged the first film as only being a movie, as the plot this time around centred on a security guard named Martin, played by Laurence R Harvey. Martin became obsessed with the first film to such an extent that he wanted to make his own centipede, so he sets about kidnapping folks, taping them together and feeding them laxatives so he can enjoy that all-important feeding sequence. The other thing that this second film brought to the table was a hefty amount of dark humour, and we ended up with a film that was as disgusting as it was hilarious, and I bloody loved it. And so that brings us to 2015 and the arrival of the Human Centipede final sequence. This time around, the story is set in a prison that's run by a maniacal and extremely psychotic warden known as Bill Boss, played by Dieter Lasser. All Bill wants is a fairly quiet life whereby all the inmates fear him and do as they're fucking well told. However, they all treat him as a bit of a joke, and no matter how much he maims and tortures them, the inmates just don't seem to display the fear and respect that he thinks he deserves. And maim and torture them he does, ranging from castration to waterboarding with boiling water.
You will now face boiling waterboarding. Ain't afraid of you, Bill Boss. Go fuck yourself, Nazi bastard. Boiling water. Take a look at you.
Trying to keep the psychotic warden under control is his accountant, Dwight Butler, played by Laurence R Harvey. Dwight is determined to convince Bill that the best and most cost-effective way of keeping the inmates under control is to graft each and every single one of them together into a human centipede. Dwight shows the Centipede films to Bill, who is not interested in some B-movie shit by a stupid filmmaker with a poop fetish. His words. He's got too many other matters at hand to worry about, like dealing with that pesky local governor, who's played by Eric Roberts, and abusing his secretary Daisy, who's played by ex-porn star Bree Olson. And of course he's got his strict diet to adhere to as well. That is, if snacking on dried clitorises with a side order of testicles can be considered a diet. Tom Six appears in the movie as himself, although I would have liked him to parody himself a bit more. I was expecting him to want to get a bit rapey with the centipede, or at least jack off all over it. Kind of portray himself as the crazy nutter that certain groups of people think he is. You know the ones. They've never seen any of the films, but they'll happily shout out about how depraved they think it is if it will give them 5 minutes in the limelight. Dieter Lasser tears up the screen with a ridiculously over-the-top performance, and although I did find him to spend a little bit too much time shouting incoherently throughout the majority of his scenes, his performance did grow on me as I got more used to it, and on my second viewing of the film I really got it, and had a blast watching him go full-on batshit mental in a performance that really has to be seen to be believed. Laurence R Harvey also did a great job, although I can't really comment on the accuracy of his American accent, as it's a damn sight better than I can do. so I'm certainly not qualified to pass judgment on it. However, the way he portrayed his character was just brilliant, from the looks of resignation that crossed his face when Bill went into another one of his mad rages, to his reactions to all the crazy shit that's going on around him. It made him into a likeable character that also had some very funny moments, and he was a good counterbalance to Bill's raging insanity. The third film in the series has a different tone to the others too, and although it's still a horror movie, what it mainly is at heart is a comedy. A very fucked up comedy, but a comedy nonetheless. And where the second film went down the dark humour route, the third one becomes an even bigger parody of itself, and absolutely revels in that fact. There's plenty of references and inside jokes that fans will get a kick out of too, and the movie sets out to disgust and amuse in equal measure. Sure, not everyone's going to find it funny, but I love those moments that make you go, ooh, while simultaneously making you laugh. There's a scene involving an inmate that's had a stoma that's a good example of this. The third instalment is a film you need to watch more than once too. The first time I watched it, I enjoyed it, but wasn't quite sure if it went a bit too far with the self-parody and over-the-top characters. But when watching it a second time, everything fell into place and I enjoyed it so much more. Give it a watch, and then the next day, watch it again. It's ridiculous, over-the-top, balls out and balls off fun. Fucked up fun maybe, but fun all the same. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I don't know about you, Dieter, but I love Christmas. Christmas! Ho ho ho! What was that? What is it? Oh, oh, oh! Someone's been naughty boys this year. Tom 6, ho ho ho! Dieter Lasser, ho ho ho! And Laurence R Harvey, ho 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 ho!
What have you done, Master?
My Human Centipede!
Hello and welcome to Chapter Skip. I'm Mark, and today I'm reviewing Human Centipede 3. Or is it the? Is it the? It is the. I missed out the fucking the.